Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface with the third and the final part of the level 100 talents, which are currently, remember everything is subject to change, currently though being touted at for the brand new World of Warcraft expansion coming out next year, Warlords of Draenor. Now I've been through from Death Knight all the way to Rogue. We have the final three tonight, and that is the Shaman, my beloved Warlock class. So you have to forgive me for waffling on a little bit more probably about that. And the Warrior class as well. So first up, Shammies, let's deal with you. And your first level 100 ability that's on offer is called Rainstorm. Now, Elemental and Enhancement, you both share the same passive, which is called Storm Armor. And while your Lightning Shield is active, lightning will strike at a random enemy within 40 yards, that's a really good distance, that you're currently in combat with every 3 seconds for 2,000 nature damage. Again, it's a very nice kind of AoE-esque ability that you'll be targeting one while your lightning armor will be spewing out, your lightning shield will be spewing out these lightning strikes to other enemies. Quite cool. Restoration, you gain Condensation Totem, which costs 100 mana. It's an instant cast. It's got 5 health. And it lasts for 1 minute, which collects 25% of all overhealing that you do. And then it grants it back to you as spell power towards your next healing wave, healing surge, greater healing wave, chain heal, or Riptide spell. Now, from what I've seen of Shammies in Mists, you do a lot of overhealing. A lot of overhealing. So that actually sounds like a pretty cool ability indeed. Next up, we have the Storm Elemental Totem. Costs 1,022 mana to cast in. It's on a 5-minute cooldown, so that's a long cooldown. And it summons an air totem with 6,000 health at the feet of the caster, and it will call forth a greater storm elemental to hurl gusts of wind on the caster's enemies. Each gust of wind does damage to the enemies and then heals all allies within 15 yards for 100% of the damage dealt, and it's split evenly and it will last until it's actually cancelled. So again, that sounds pretty darn powerful, especially considering the item squish, which we're going to get in Warlords of Draenor. And finally, we have Reach of the Elements. Now, Elemental, you get Lava Spew. Same with Enhancement. Again, you're sharing the same ability here. You gain Lava Spew. It's a 40-yard range, instant spell with a 45-second cooldown. It empowers your current fire totem with the power of the lava. Okay, causing it to spew globes or globs of lava at a random enemy within 40 yards every 1 second for 15 seconds. Each glob of lava deals 2,000 fire damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Again, that to me sounds even better than Rainstorm from just the very first totem. If I had the choice, and I don't know a lot about Shammies, so Shaman, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong again, but that sounds a lot better to me than the Rainstorm one does, but there we go. And Restoration, you gain High Tide as a passive ability. Your Chain Heal will also bounce to all targets affected by your Riptide, and once more, that could be a really powerful heal ability. So let me know, Shammies, what you think. But now, whoa, we're going to move on to my beloved, you know, a class I love more than any woman I ever have in my life. Oh, that sounds horrible, but it's true. Anyway, the Warlock has on offer Chaotic Resources, Cataclysm, and Demonic Servitude. So let's get on with Chaotic Resources first. Now then, Affliction. You gain Soulburn Haunt ability as a passive, and it grants the Soulburn empowerment to your Haunt spell, which we currently don't have. Used to have, I think. Pretty sure we used to have. Now we don't have. And your Haunt spells will also grant you 15% increased periodic damage for 30 seconds. So it's a nice boost there to your dots for Affliction. I'm going to come back to Demonology because I want to talk about that one and jump now to Destruction, which to me is a bit meh. And this is Charred Remains. Again, it's a passive ability. Your Incinerate and Conflagrate spells deal 75% less damage. That's a colossal amount. But generate 400% more Burning Embers. So really, they're turning Destruction into a Chaos Bolt spam spec, if you take that. Because you'll be just quickly getting a Burning Ember with Incinerate and Conflagrate. As least of them used as possible, and then firing off Chaos Bolts. And we know how much that makes people happy. Now then, Demonology. I wanted to leave this one to last, because if I've read this correctly, this could actually be amazing. Now, this is called Furious Chaos as a passive ability, and your Touch of Chaos spell no longer costs Demonic Fury. Okay? But instead, it generates 40 Demonic Fury, but your Metamorphosis provides 30% less increased damage. So why does that sound so good? Maybe if you're not a Warlock, or maybe if you are a Warlock, but don't quite understand that. To me, and Warlocks chip in here, but I think I've read this correctly, this means perma-metaform. This would actually mean you could stay perma-metaform, because you'd use your Touch of Chaos to build back up your Demonic Fury, and then fire off your other spells that, you know, will actually cost Demonic Fury while in meta. But you could stay in meta indefinitely, from what it sounds like to me. So Warlocks chip in there. Am I right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? Who cares? But it sounds... Oh my, that does sound tempting. And this is why I've been harking to Blizzard. Give us Trite specs. Let us experiment with more specs, more diversity. Go on, Blizz. Let us play more. Let's move on to the last one. Cataclysm. Oh my goodness. This was given to Destruction Warlocks in patch 5.1 PTR. But then it was taken away. Blizz said, yes, we feel Destruction Warlocks need something extra. Therefore, we're given this new spell, Cataclysm. They couldn't get it to work how they wanted it to work. Fair play. Fair play to them. So they removed it and gave us nothing. I like that. You need something. Okay, here you go. Hasn't quite worked. Bye. Are we getting any compensation for that? No. Bye. Anywho, Cataclysm. If you've seen my Canrathad fights, you would have seen Canrathad cast Cataclysm. And it conjures a Cataclysm at the target's location, dealing 10,000 Shadow Flame damage to all enemies within 8 yards. So it's up close and personal spell here. It doesn't have a vast range on it here. Affliction and Demonology, it will also apply Corruption to all the targets hit, and Destruction Locks, it will apply Immolate, but 2.6 second cast, that is a long cast. But you do have a 40-yard range on it, so you can position where you want the Cataclysm to go. It's not as if you actually have to cast it on your feet. PvP, I don't think you're going to get away with it. I don't think any class is going to allow you to get this out in PvP, especially if there's a group fight. But if you can hide behind other people, then maybe you've got a chance. But PvE for AoE, this looks like it could be absolutely devastating. 1 minute cooldown, if I didn't mention. But my favourite of the 3 talents so far, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm probably going to make him very happy now by mentioning his name, Aston, is going to be Giddy as a little schoolgirl, because he believed there was a talent on this tree here that would make me go, yeah, and this is clearly it. Demonic Servitude. It's a 40-yard range. Doesn't mean anything, to be quite honest with you. 2.6 second cast, 1 minute cooldown. It's a passive ability, but listen to this. You are now able to maintain your control over even greater demons indefinitely, allowing you to summon Doom Guards and Infernals as permanent pets. So the Warlock's 10-minute Guardian pets, which we get every 10 minutes for 1 minute to fight with us, but we can't control them, we can have full, unadulterated control over these demons. Now, I was really hoping And I know this might be, this sounds a little bit selfish, and I think this sounds a wee bit selfish. So Blizzard, if anyone from Blizzard watches this video, I apologise in advance. But I was also really hoping that we might get Pit Lords in the next Dex pack. I was desperate for it, and no word so far. But there's plenty of time. Blizz, pretty please. I'm rubbing places. Please, Pit Lords. Add Pit Lords to that list. Give us Pit Lords. Give them some abilities. Please. Okay, there we go. Right, so that's Warlocks taken care of, and we shall end with the amazing Warriors, of course. Funtime Frank's a Warrior, so this is going to be quite exciting for me. And from what I've heard, these abilities are really cool, so let's get to them. Warriors, you get the choice of Blade Barrier, Ravager, and Extreme Measure. So let's go with the Blade Barrier first. It's a passive ability that's an instant. Make any sense? No, not really. When you whirlwind or thunderclap, whirling barriers continue to spin around you for 30 seconds. That's a long time. These blades do 1,000 damage every second to all enemies within 8 yards. That sounds like a chicken oriental AoE. And yes, now it makes sense that it's a passive instant, because you're going to have to hit it yourself. But that is absolutely bananas to me. It sounds an incredible AoE. It sounds like the best AoE I've seen out of everything. Pones on Cataclysm, Pones the Shaman ones. My goodness, that sounds just absolutely devastating. Now, Ravager, 40-yard range, 1 second cast, 1 minute cooldown. You throw a whirling... Lots of whirling stuff going on here with Warriors. You throw a whirling axe at the target's location, then inflicts 3,000 damage. Remember, we're getting the numbers crunch, so that's high damage. 3,000 damage to enemies within 8 yards every 1 second, lasts for 15 seconds. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Does that sound familiar at all? Well, if you haven't fought Garrosh Hellscream, it's an ability that Garrosh Hellscream has. He throws his axe to the ground, and it causes a big kind of defile area around it. The more that you actually attack the axe, the smaller the area of effect. Yada, 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 yada. So it's a rework of that ability. So Warriors, you're kind of turning a little bit Garrosh-esque on that one by the sounds of it. And finally, we have Extreme Measures. Now then, Arms and Fury, you both get Masochism. Alright. Very nervous about where this one's going to go, which is an instant ability. Of course you are. Warriors just have instants. That's all they have. Instant. CC, stun stuns. Okay, not even going to go into that debate right now. Anyway, deals damage to yourself... equal to 20% of your maximum health, and you gain 30 rage. Kind of reminds me of the Hearthstone card, the Injured Blade Master, is it, I believe? It's a 3/7, 3 attacks, 7 health card, but when you summon it, I think it deals 4 damage to itself and becomes a 3/3. But it can be healed back up, of course, to a 3/7. Becomes a very, or decent card, at least, in that respect. So it kind of feels like a working of that Hearthstone card, which is quite cool, because there's been a lot of links to Hearthstone. There's been a lot of links to boss fights, and I like that. I think there's been some very nice thought put into these level 100 talents. Prot, don't worry, haven't forgotten about you. You will gain an extra stance called Gladiator Stance. It's an instant, and it says Dauntless. Okay, Dauntless Combat Stance. It's got a 1.5 minute cooldown on it too. It increases all damage dealt by 20%. Also causes Shield Slam to consume Shield Barrier as additional damage, and have an increased chance to critically strike equal to your critical block chances as well, and it would actually replace defensive stance. So it does sound like a very aggressive tanking stance there, to be perfectly honest with you. Is that an attempt to try and entice more people into the world of tanking? But it does kind of sound like you're almost like a tank DPS hybrid, while still being able to protect yourself. But Warriors, Prot Warriors, anyway, discuss that. Talk to me about that. Tell me the ramifications of it, the pros, the cons, etc. Be very interesting indeed to hear your point of view on that. So there we go. The final 3 classes have been dealt with. Shammies, my beloved Warlocks, and also Warriors. Thank you for watching this set of videos. Lots to discuss with them. Remember, I'm going to reiterate this. This is the preliminary level 100 talents that have been released from BlizzCon on the announcement of Warlords of Draenor. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind some of these talents will not make it to the final cut. There will be plenty of chopping and changing and tweaking of numbers and all this kind of jazz. So please don't go all emo in the comments. It's not fair, it's so overpowered. Woe is me, for I am undone. All that kind of Shakespearean nonsense. Just take them for what they are, which is preliminary talents in an effort, in a hope to make your personal class sound absolutely awesome. And I got to say, plenty of them do. Somebody gave a brilliant comment in a post yesterday saying, with all these level 100 talents, is there anything out there that makes you tempted to play another class other than just your Warlock? We know how much I love my Warlock, and I'd never let my Warlock go. But I was like, well, there is a lot. You have the Orbs with the Shadow Priest, which sounds amazing. You have the Lone Wolf for the Hunter, which to me is really attractive, but I know is conflicting within the Hunter community. Some Hunters absolutely adore their pets, but I'm a Warlock. I'm used to sacrificing demons, treating my demons like bitches. So Lone Wolf to me sounds very, very interesting indeed. Blade Barrier sounds amazing. As Funtime Frank going around with Blade Barrier. My God, that sounds absolutely awesome. And of course, the Warlock level 100 talents with the what appears to be at first glance, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, appears to be perma-metaform. What? Perma-metaform, if you handle that correctly, and also being able to control your top-end Guardian demons, which again is really, really enticing as well. There are plenty of level 100 talents out there which have got me absolutely licking my lips. Talk to me about yours. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and also twitch.tv/heel versus babyface. Remember, I can now reply to the comments below. It's just such a shame that YouTube have up the comment section and it's very difficult to reply to anything at the moment, full stop. Ay chihuahua. Also, do not forget to follow me on twitch.tv/heel versus babyface for live streaming. I'll be live streaming tonight, 7 PM UK time. As always, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 PM UK time to 9 PM UK time. But I've been going way over time the last few days. Even did 3 hours last night. And I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everyone. I love you all. Bye-bye.